All right, so here we're going to talk about. Well, I'm going to talk about. You free to talk to the script? No, just kidding. But like, check this out. Is that talk about vibration and how it manifests. So first of all, we are a conglomerate of multiversal, multidimensional, cosmic, unified essence. Some would call us souls and spirits because a spirit is different from a soul. And then you got what they call soulless, which is really just it's basically a soul that does not necessarily have a place for itself, and so it assimilates everything else by drawing it out of its own personal space, its place, its pathway, if you would, and then it kind of absorbs their energy to assume the resonance that they had for that moment, and then it goes back because it's an empty cup. It can't feel itself that way. However, the way that reality manifests, like let's say Earth for existence, for existence, exactly. Let's say Earth for existence manifests through the willpower and intent of the conglomerate. So that means us, everything that exists. Let's say oxygen, for instance. Oxygen is, putting it in words, a co-signed agreement by all of us to have a wavelength that we could actually insert and then exert. So inhale and exhale oxygen, right? And then other things that are in the atmosphere, which are all spirits actually. So first of all, oxygen is a conglomerate of spirits who have agreed to actually be the go-between for everybody to communicate. Otherwise, there will be void space and your voice would never go anywhere. So this oxygen is a focused agreement by all of us that called in spirits that you in unison, but because they're so tiny, then they all fuse together and become one entity. They move like a hive mind, like bees or ants do, and they feed everything that has chosen to be on this vibrational frequency. However, we feed it through our awareness. That is how it manifested. So you feed your awareness to an experience. A spirit or soul, depends, because Earth is a soul. Like it's a huge spirit conglomerate of spirits. They create a soul, and this is a mechanism that we exist on, and it works to feed everything that feeds it. So you feed Earth awareness, Earth feeds you fruit, vegetables, mountains, the sea, things that it can draw into its experience based on the energy that it is absorbing from that which is feeding it awareness. That means even a meteor striking the Earth was within the realm of what Earth actually wanted on a cosmic level. Just like how you can sometimes come across somebody who you feel like you don't like and they give you information you do need for later on when you ended up you did need it when you was around the people that you did like. And you had to use it that way. So it works. But that's what reality is. It is a co-signed agreement between all of us to manifest things through spirits and souls, contracted and sometimes what you could consider to be an intruder in a way. They kind of bogart the scene. But that's usually only because you see, sometimes energy requires more of a jolt in order to get the fire started, in order for the energy to rise up so that the creation can become manifest. There are times where just being nice doesn't cut it and you needed a whooping. Like, so that's kind of the same thing. However, either way, we still focused it some way into our reality. And in that way, we know we have control over what we focus into our existence. It's a grand thing to know. Other things that can be, or that are really, as they can be, because relative to how they manifest, it could be something that you manifested on purpose, or we manifested as a collective on purpose, or like I said, it was an accident in a way. So, well, let's talk about agreements that you focus and manifest as a conglomerate. We do without consignment, like we not actually trying to do it. Let's talk about like riots or like a house fire, something that you might not actually try to manifest. Oh, let's not say those because then, you know, I got yeah. Okay, so anything that could be something that you may not necessarily agree with propagating within your reality. What we have to recognize is that what we feed our energy to on a subliminal level is what makes up. So, on a subatomic level, on a thought processing level, on a microcellular level, on an energy frequency wavelength level, we are sending out vibrations all the time. So, if we do not learn or if we avoid the necessary learning of how to manage this cellular structure, then what happens is we manifest constantly scenarios in our reality that are not to our actual liking. However, this is not necessarily something that you have to see as your own personal truth because we do live on a planet that has been heavily monopolized and manipulated. So there are places you cannot sleep and you will be messed with if they catch you, obviously. So that's not a reality that you necessarily manifested in that way. You did lend your energy on a subliminal level to that, on an atomic level, really, and to that scenario in order to be a part of the experience of leaving that area. However, you may not have necessarily focused your energy into that area, not being a place where you could lay your head for rest. And this also applies to foods that are in the store that you have to buy and things like that. Those scenarios manifest as a fail-safe mechanism in a way against the overconsumption of life on an ecosystem or in an ecosystem. Because when something is free, there's a tendency to over consume it when you can just, and you're not doing anything. So, in order to force growth, sometimes, and it may not seem like it, maybe you feel like, and you heard about and you read about that it was all taken over by whatever some kind of fear-based propaganda, fear-based. But the truth is that everything is in divine alignment. That means that food being in the store is a response from Earth to something here just eating like crazy. Because this is really Earth's reality, baby. Like, we can all talk about it how we want to, and I can do a lot of things, trust me. I know a lot about conscious fields and how they work. I still pay respect to the ground that I stand on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all co signed this agreement to be here and to do this thing. And sometimes, depending on what level of illusion you stepped into, you cannot know how you got here, why you here, and you might have got abducted. Like, people have been abducted. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's happened. A lot of things have happened that have been kept under wraps, and a lot of people who just kind of live in a house, they don't really believe in this kind of stuff. However, I've had to experience firsthand a lot of these things, and we have actually together experienced a lot of very, very strange phenomena together. So this is real. We co-signed this agreement, and whatever we believe, the fact that we all breathe in this oxygen means that we all want our hearts to beat on the same wavelength somehow. Because what pumps that blood around is that heart. And obviously the colon and the liver do a little bit of help, as well as a couple of other organs in your body. But we all wanted to live in unison. So that was just a small explanation of how we all co-signed this agreement and how it's all love in the end.